Hello everyone, this is the beginning of this section 2. The first topic is slope of a straight line. You are familiar with most of the topics in this section. You studied them in grade 10, so it will be easier for you to understand and practice. Slope of a straight line. You know what slope is? It tells us how steep a line is, so we will be talking about lines. And if you remember, we studied 4 types of slopes. Positive slope, if a line is rising from left to right. Negative slope, if a line is falling down from left to right. Zero slope, if the line is horizontal. And vertical slope, undefined slope, if the line is vertical. So those are the types of slopes we studied and we will be using in this section. Let's take a look at the first rule, first way to find slope. If 2 points are given, some question gives us points, some question will give us an angle, some questions will give us the equation. So this is the first type. 2 points are given. If 2 points are given, the slope is change in y over change in x. Change in y means 2 points are given, subtract the y's, y2 minus y1, divided by change in x is subtract the x's. So x2 minus x1. The important thing here is if you start with the second point for y, you have to start with the second point for x. So it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So starting with the first point here, you have to start with the first point here too. Starting with the second point here, you have to start with the second point here too. But if you start with the second point for y, you can't start with the first point for x. That's not true. You have to follow the order. Either start with the second point for both or start with the first point for both. So that's the first way, first type of question. Knowing 2 points, the formula is change in y over change in x. Okay, let's take a look at the questions related to this formula. An exercise question in the book. 2 points are given. Find the slope. So pick a point to start with. So let's start with this point. y2 minus y1. 2 minus negative 4 divided by x2 minus x1. 5 minus 3. If this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. Pick a point to start with. If you pick this point to start with, 2 minus minus 4 divided by 5 minus 3, which is 6 over 2, 3. So that's the slope. Another question, another exercise question. 2 points are given. Pick a point to start with. I will start with this point. Negative 2 minus negative 2 divided by 4 minus 3. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, which is 0 over 1. That's gonna be 0. So this is a way. You can also say, if you recognize its y components are same, 2 points share the same y value. This is the y value for the first point. This is y value for the second point. There are 2 points sharing the same y value. When I connect them, I get a vertical line. This is the y value for the first. This is the y value for the second. They share the same y value. When I connect them, I get a horizontal line. Remember, slope of a horizontal line is 0. You can use that idea or write the equation, reuse the formula. Similarly, in the next exercise question, y2 minus y1, 5 minus 1 divided by x2 minus x1, 2 minus 2, which is 4 over 0. 0 in denominator gives us an undefined result, so the result is undefined. You can also use the idea that they share the same x value. See, its x value is 2 for both of the points. So if first point has 2 as an x value. Second point, it has also 2 as an x value with different y. So when I connect them, I get a vertical line. So slope of vertical line is undefined. If this is confusing, just stick with this formula, change in y over change in x. This is the first way, first type of question. Knowing 2 points require using this formula. Second type of questions, knowing the angle. No point is given. You don't have a point. You don't have points, so you can't apply this formula. So you have to use another way. If the angle is given, its slope is tangent theta. Theta is the given angle. So remember what tangent is. What is the relation? What relation in the right triangle gives us the tangent? It is opposite over adjacent. In a right triangle, the relation between the ratio between opposite and adjacent gives us a tangent. So let's take a look at the questions and see how it works. Find slope of a function if the angle is 45 degrees. Just apply this formula. We don't have a point. We can't use that one. We have to use this one. So tangent 45 will give us the answer. What is tangent 45? Use your calculator. It's going to give you 1. So 1 is the answer. Similarly, there is a ministry question, 2022 attempt. It's about slope. In this diagram, 8 meter is the horizontal distance from P to the wall here, and height is missing, an angle given. So it's trigonometry. We know the adjacent. We don't know the we don't know the opposite. We know the angle. So you should come up with a relation between opposite, adjacent, and angle. Remember, we used this a lot last year. Opposite, adjacent, and angle. There is a relation between them. The relation between them is tangent. We can link them all together by using tangent. Tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. So that's the relation we will be using. What is theta? Theta is given as 60 degrees. Tangent 60 equals opposite of this angle is given, not given, missing, as h. And adjacent of this angle is given as 8 meters. I need h alone. So let's cross product. H is equal to 8 meters multiplied by tangent 60. What is tangent 60? You just use your calculator. It will be square root of 3. So 8 square root of 3 meter will be our answer. Alright. It's a different question, but it uses that idea. So let's take a look at the third type of questions, third type of givens. So in this type, you don't have a point, you don't have an angle, you just have an equation. So neither of the methods that we studied before will work here. So you just need to know how to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b is the slope-intercept form. If your equation is written in that form, coefficient of x will give you the slope, and the number added or subtracted will give you the y-intercept. Coefficient of x will give you the slope, number added or subtracted will give you the y-intercept. Let's see how it works. The first question about this type. It's asking about slope and the y-intercept. Slope is the coefficient of x, which is -5. And the number added here will give us the y-intercept. If you write this as a point, 4 is the y component, 0 is the x. Remember, by writing y-intercept, we always give 0 to x. So 0 comma the given number. What if your equation is not written in this form, slope-intercept form? It's written in another form. Then we can turn this into slope-intercept form. How? We get y alone. The first thing we need to do is getting y alone. So move -5y to the other side, 15 to the left. So 6x minus 15 equals 5y. My y still is not alone, so let's divide both sides by 5. So 6 over 5x minus 15 over 5 is 3 equals 5, so we'll cancel each other right. Now my equation is written in slope-intercept form. I can identify the elements. What do I need to find? I need to find the slope. Slope is the coefficient of x, and I also need to find the y-intercept. It's clear that this number added here will give us the y component of the y-intercept, and slope x component is always 0. All right, so we have some basic questions, some simple not required solving questions. In the recent years they have been using these type of questions in Vezari. Here you have an equation which is very simple, x equals 4. It's asking about slope and the y-intercept. So what kind of line is that? Y equals 4. It is a line that's passing through 4 on the x-axis. So what kind of line? It's a vertical line. So what can you say about slope of a vertical line? It has an undefined slope. What can you say about its y-intercept? It doesn't touch y-axis. It doesn't have a common point with y, and there is no y in the equation, so there is no y-intercept. It's very simple, no solving required. Similarly, if an equation is with y, what kind of line is that? It's passing through -1 on the y-axis. So it's a horizontal line. What can you say about slope of a horizontal line? It is 0. And what can you say about its y-intercept? It is passing through -1 on the y-intercept. So it is clear that 0, -1 is the y-intercept. Okay, so we can generalize these two questions as whenever the equation is y equals something, then slope is 0. Whenever the equation is x equals something, then slope is undefined. But there is an exception here. When x is 0, other than it's not the other numbers, it's just 0. It means your line is passing through 0 on the x-axis, which is also passing through the y-axis. If it is passing through the y-axis, then there are infinitely points on the y-axis that the line is passing through. So y-intercept of x equals 0 is all real numbers, unlike this. If you have something else here, number is 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, whatever it is, other than 0, then the slope is undefined. But if it is passing through origin, then it is coinciding with the y-axis. So its y-intercept is all real numbers. It's an exception. Another question, find slope of the given line. Here, no point is given, no angle is given, and no equation is given. You have to find a way to find the result here. There are many ways that you can think of. You can think of an angle here. You know it's one of the special triangles. You may not think of this. Or you can use the idea of finding slope. Remember, slope is change in y over change in x. Change in y is this part, which is how many units? 2 units. Change in x is that part, which is also 2 units. And slope is rising, which means it's positive, so 2 over 2, 1. If you don't like it, first way, if it doesn't make sense, find 2 points. Pick 2 points. What 2 points are clear? This is a clear point for me. And I'm sorry, the pen stuck. I cannot write. So 0, 2 is a clear point. Oh, my pen is not working, sorry. This is a point which is 0, comma 2. This is another clear point, negative 2, comma 0. So if you know 2 points, you can apply this rule, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And find the slope. Zero comma 2 is a point here, here, negative 2 comma 0. So we apply this rule, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Equals, if I use this as a second point, 2 minus 0 divided by 0 minus minus 2. 0 minus negative 2. 2 minus 0 is 2. 0 minus minus 2 is also 2. 2 over 2 is 1. So there are many ways of solving this question. So you can think of many different ways. So maybe this is the easiest for you, picking 2 points and applying the rule. Last question. Find the value of a if the slope of the line is negative 3. In the previous questions, we were asked about finding the slope. In this question, we are asked to find the unknown if slope is given. Slope is already given, but we need to turn this equation into slope-intercept form so that we know what our slope in this equation is. So let's turn this into slope-intercept form. Isolate y. So let's get ax to the other side. 2y equals 2 minus ax. And I don't get y still alone, so divide both sides by 2. So y is now alone. On the other side, 2 over 2, 1 minus a over 2x. So now I got my equation in slope-intercept form, and I also know what the slope is. What was slope if the equation is in y-intercept form? Slope is coefficient of x. The coefficient of x here, negative a over 2, represents the slope, which is given in the question as negative 3. That's a very smart question. It's different type. 2022 ministry question. Now we need a. So by just equalizing negative a over 2, the coefficient of x, to the given slope, we will find the unknown. So let's equalize negative a over 2 to given slope negative 3. That's what we got in the equation as a slope. That's what's given in the question as a slope. So they're identical. They are supposed to be same. So we are equalizing them. Let's cross multiply them. Negative a equals 2 times negative 3, negative 6. Let's get rid of negatives. So a is equal to 6, which is option B. So that's it for this section. We covered pretty much everything about this section. And there is another way of finding the slope. I'll explain that one in the next lesson. I think that's enough for this topic. Next topic will be about how to write equation of a straight line. Okay, bye for now.